throughout all our lives, we've been in an unconscious approach to relieve ourselves of the need for something. And every time we have received or retrieved an object, in that moment, the object means nothing. In that moment, we have removed ourselves of the need to find something, and inevitably end up in nothing. And we search for this nothingness like it's no tomorrow. This nothingness isn't really a nothingness. This absence of resistance is not really a nothingness. It's called feeling alive. And this feeling alive, it's our nature to be that expression. And when that expression is restricted or limited or dimmed or veiled, we will seek unconsciously to find a way to relieve ourselves of the resistance to it. And then when the object is retrieved or received, the relationship, the job, the career, the car, the money, the whatever it is, the spiritual object, the spiritual practice, the spiritual inquiry, the whatever it might be, we then feel ourselves relieved of the need to find something. And in that nothingness, where there's nothing replacing the desire, and there's no other desire to find something else, we experience what we could call the nature of being alive. Aliveness, shining unrestricted into the layers of our experience. And this aliveness is what we call happiness, because when we are being alive, unrestricted by resistance, it is peace itself. This aliveness shines into the mind, into the body, and into the world, and it feels like what we would call peace or happiness. Really, what we could call limited peace and happiness is merely the expression of the true happiness, which is our naked being shining without resistance. And that lack of resistance is what we are seeking every single day of our lives, whether through coffee, books, cigarettes, sex, whatever it might be. This is the process that we have seemingly undertaken to come back to who we are. We've been conditioned to believe that happiness is conditional. We've been conditioned to believe that this approach of coming to our natural state of being, this is not a state of being, this is this is the background of states. Any state is going to be something that is taking us away. It's a resistance. Happiness is not a state of being. So the feeling that we get is because we have been perpetually resisting up until the point of being unresisting. And that flush of light, of happiness that comes through our being is almost like, oh my God, look, there's a feeling there now. There's a big distinction, big resistance, big happiness. This big happiness that wasn't there before and now is here is the only moment of happiness. And now I am just experiencing this. Oh, now it's gone again. Oh, now it's gone and now I have to find it again. Where was it last time? Well, last time it was in the car, but the car disappeared. It didn't work for very long. Okay, next time it'll be the spiritual book. Or maybe it's in my yoga practice. We will perpetuate the suffering if we perpetually seek for an object, no matter how subtle the object is. So we've been conditioned to believe that happiness is conditional, which means that we've been conditioned to believe that we can find happiness in an object, and we've believed that objects are limited, which they are. So how can we reverse this process? How can we recognize that happiness is actually unconditional? By recognizing what happiness actually is. If you think happiness is a feeling, a state, an emotion that you retrieve only when something has happened, then you will always be experiencing conditional happiness. I've heard so many people talk about happiness as if they have a clue what it's about, and then they start saying, don't look for happiness, look for this instead. Look, someone who says that don't look for happiness, look for this instead, is just saying that don't look for happiness, look for this other thing, which what would that other thing be trying to give you? It would be happiness. So what we need to see is that happiness is not a feeling or a state. Happiness is the background in which all feelings and states arise, because it is made of pure consciousness. So when you see pure consciousness for what it is, when you see the nature of your being for what it is, you notice that it does not resist. You cannot resist. Your naked being, unrestricted by limitation of what it is or what it might be, just experiencing it as it is, you see that there is no resistance there. It does not resist. The knowing element of your experience cannot resist an experience. It, by definition, accepts resistance because it is so accepting. It's so accepting. Using the word acceptance is redundant. It does not accept. It is pure acceptance itself. Now imagine if you've seen yourself to be that. How much would you resist? How much of your life would you suffer? You would have experienced the source of happiness, so you would not need to search for it in the world. Therefore, your happiness in that moment would be unconditional. So for as long as you are recognizing what you are, your happiness is unconditional. That's where unconditional happiness takes place. It's a background that is always shining, just like the light of the sun is always shining. And there are clouds of resistance in the way, but guess what? The sun shines through the clouds. You cannot see the clouds if you could not see the clouds if they were not shining with the light of happiness, you see? So this is how we can recognize that. Happiness is unconditional. We just have conditions as to what happiness is. I share this and take people through meditations in my private community. If you'd like to check it out, it's completely for free. I host about 2 to 3 every week. I think you'd like it. The link's in the description. Take care. Have a beautiful day. Bye.